There we go.
So what you think though, Ant? Before I decline this shit or accept it or not, because he ain't gonna be on later.
That's your choice, bro. If you feel like you want to move in the top of the draft, then move in the top. You know what I mean?
I got two. I'm thinking like, yeah, I might. I mean, I got two subs. Um, I'm gonna have to move my player back to sub. I kind of let that nigga graduate from sub linebacker like a couple years ago, but I might move him back to sub then. But that lets me play all these fast ass safeties I got. The problem is they just little as hell. Bunch of 5'11", 6 foot safeties. You know, that's later. I love you too. That should have had me fucking playing. That should have had me mad as fuck on some of them bullshit ass jump ball shits. But let's see, Harvey Lot 5'11", Hanks 5'11", Jalen Williams 5'10". They all fast as hell though. Atwater 6'3".
Yo, can you see
Dante.
if check my YouTube and see if that shit broadcasting?
Yeah, I just got the notification.
Can you post it in the main chat so I can pull it up?
Yeah. Let me see, man. Uh, I'm about to sit here and go with.
I wonder why that shit don't be coming up on my shit all the time.
Shit autocorrected. Problem. Talking about problem. Pro Bowl. um. Yeah, bro. I might do this for. I might take this trade.
Ravens live.
Ravens live.
I might take this trade for. Top five players is three offensive linemen and fucking receiver and safety. Oof. Damn, bro. Do I want to take this?
We active. We live. 2029 Pro Bowl lineup. As we head into Super Bowl weekend and the off season, let's talk about Justin Fields making the Pro Bowl once again. Dan Marino not only made the Pro Bowl, was the MVP of the league. QBs too. Dorian Thompson Robinson been doing it for a long time, man. Been steady, consistent for the Cleveland Browns. And young Cat for the 49ers is QB number 2 in the NFC. You got young Juice Williams for getting a start for the first time this year, and Sean Archer for the Dolphins, your top 3 quarterback, NFC, AFC. So in the running back room, H-back 1, you got B. John Robinson, who was definitely had a resurgence to a season. He balled out this year. Priest Holmes for the Chiefs touched the 2,000-yard mark this year as well as a running back. He had a new back in the backfield from the Cardinals, and Boykins. He played really well this year, just as well as Napoleon Kaufman Jr. for the new head coach over there for the Raiders. Balled out. Willis McGahee, his first Pro Bowl, and A-Chain does it again. Dolphins running back. He's been a fixture in their backfield for the last 6 seasons. And going into season 7, you got Tom Rathman, fullback 1. You got Johnson, fullback 1. McCarthy. You got Gunby for the Falcons as fullbacks 1 and 2 in the NFC and the AFC. The wide receiver room, you got two Chicago Bears at wide receiver 1 and 2, and Walton, Diaper Dandy, and then Barclay. Emmett Brown for the Browns. He became their number one receiver this year. Will Falk has been the number one receiver for the Jets. Bankston, in his first full season starting, makes the Pro Bowl at wide receiver 3. And then the Packers, Bennett, wide receiver 3 as well. Eagles, Sizzle. He's been balling. He's been hot since he's joined the league. Um, I'm going to see what the Eagles going to do in this year's draft with the number one overall pick. Reggie Moss for the Bills, once again, makes the Pro Bowl. You have Jameson Williams for the Lions. The Lions will be hosting a new coach this year. And let's see if Jameson can continue his run. And Maurice Teller, the third receiver for the Jets to make the Pro Bowl in the same season. So shout out to the Jets. Amon St. Brown, number 2 receiver for the Lions. And he's wide receiver 6 along with Devin Hester Jr. for the Dolphins, holding down the 6th spot at the top 6 receivers in the Pro Bowl. You're looking at Tune. That's the Bears tight end. Bears had a really good passing year this year. They were 6,000 plus yards, so they have a lot of guys that put numbers up just as well as the Jets. Novacek. You got Bailey, Hightower, O'Leary, the Diaper Dandy for the Rams, and Clayton for the Dolphins are your tight ends 3. Our starting left tackles, you got Holcomb on the left tackle for the NFC side, and White for the AFC side. Marshall as 2, and Irwin for the Niners is number 2 backup tackles. You're looking at Simpkins at left guard, and you're looking at Gray at left guard. And the AFC as your starters, Barnett holds down the 2nd spot, and Boatwright holds down the 2nd left guard spot in the AFC. Starting centers, you got Chapman and Tippmann. AFC, NFC. Centers number 1, you got Richardson, 6'7", 320-pound center backup, and Humphreys on his way out the door, they said, over there in Kansas City, is holding it down. Maybe his last Pro Bowl as a Chief. All right, so at right guard is 1, you got Simpson, right guard, 6'2", 322, and Vertecker, 6'5", 308 for the Jets. Kirkland at backup guard, and Bundy at backup guard in the AFC, 6'4", 328. Springs, right tackle, 6'7", 333. Becton, senior, 6'7", 363. Starting right tackles, NFC, AFC. McClendon, right tackle, 71, 6'4", 290. Probably the littlest tackle on the board. D. Lucas, 72, 6'7", 340. Are your number 2 right tackles in the Pro Bowl. That's your offensive weapons. Let's come down here to the defense. We start right away with left ends. You got Bell for the Commanders, who's been a baller, 6'5", 289. He's been balling out since he's been in the league. Pro Bowler. You got Phillips, Jalen Phillips, man. He's been doing it since day 1 as well for the Dolphins. TJ Watt, the new Watt for the Steelers. You got Johnson for the Cardinals. Ely for the Eagles. Felix. I don't get my can't wrap my head around who Felix played for. 6'3", 240. I can't remember who he played for, but Beckham at right in number 2, along with Thibodeau. The Giants brought Thibodeau back to life as well, making the Pro Bowl. You got Red, Tony Red, not the safety for the Saints, but the D tackle for the Vikings. You got Green as well, Mean Joe Green, who balled out at D tackle. I think he led the league in sacks as well, 6'5", 265 for the Steelers. Quentin Williams seemed like he's just never going anywhere. He's been doing it forever. Best D tackle in the league, but he's at D tackle number 2. Sharpton at D tackle number 2 as well. And NFC, and that's the Rams. You got Teller, D tackle number 3, and Alex Boone for the Buffalo Bills, D tackle number 3, all Pro Bowlers. All right, Bills senior for the 49ers. You got Peppers for the Jets, all at left outside linebacker 1s. Isaiah Simmons still doing it. He's been doing it for a very long time as well. Sinclair for the Browns at left outside linebacker 2. Noah Sewell for the Bears. Tyndall for the Dolphins, middle linebackers 1. You got Williams for the looks like the Rams, and Poindexter for the Panthers. Nope, sorry, Poindexter for the Patriots. All right. T. Jones, Dolphins, Chamberlain sitting there at 94 overall, 50, 6'1", 223, right outside linebacker number 1. At number 2, you got Terry, 12, 6'6", 262 coming off the edge, along with the Dolphins, E. Smart, Emmett Smart, 6'6", 250 coming off the edge as well. When you look at the cornerback room, McAllister, the second for the Giants, is Pro Bowl number 1 corner for the NFC. You have Frazier sitting at 5'10", 208 cornerback out there for the AFC side. You got Nick Jones for the Rams and Goree at cornerbacks number 2 for the Jets. You got Herb Black, I think the Texans, and Daniels at cornerbacks number 3. At 4, Sauce Gardner makes it along with Moss, and I think he is a Bill. Aaron Glenn gets down to the first safety spot. Tony Red for the Saints holds down number 1 safety spot, NFC, AFC. Hightower for the Bears. Merriweather. Who Merriweather play for? I know Thurston is the Dolphin. Whitner is a 49er. Kellum is a Packer. And Sean Teller, a diaper dandy, makes the Pro Bowl for the Jets. Kickers Patterson and McCullough. Ariza and Scott. Punters, your returners are Ray and Bennett and Harrison Fowler. We know the Pro Bowl kick returner, punt returner, they don't give them no type of real love because they don't really put the right ones there ever. But they're your Pro Bowl players. It's 2029, man. For you guys that are, let's talk a little bit. Let's get into some conversation before we go into the playoffs and see who did what throughout the playoff tree. How many people we got actively watching right now? Hit that like button, man, if you're paying attention. All right, so let's talk. And the real NFL combine is going on right now. There's a lot of guys that aren't in the league anymore. They're not even in the chat anymore. They've been hitting me up, asking me about real draft and all this and that. But let's talk for a second though. Real draft, I'm missing some things. What I'm missing is it's the combine going on right now. And to be honest with you, it sucks because this will be our second win to being able to go into the second half of Madden, right? But my understanding of why I decided not to go with Real Draft right now is because I will be bringing Real Draft right back again in August. So if you look at the timeline of what we great deal with is we have confirmed that the college football will be dropping in July. So this is Game of Thrones' last installment of the series Game of Thrones. So Game of Thrones 5 is the last time we'll be running Game of Thrones under my Madden Franchise Junkie brand. With that being said, we're going to run it out. Right. So I need you guys to look at it like it's a fresh start. Just get to it. I will open up some guys if y'all want to try, you might work out something with somebody, you want to change teams and shit like that. That's open. And you guys want to go coach other teams and trade teams. I know that's hard to do when, you spent a lot of time building your teams and all that, but it might be some guys that might want to just go into new conferences and things like that. I will recommend that if you are interested in that, somebody's willing to do that with you, we will allow that to be a situation. With that being said, I think the main keys to do is think about us playing the rest of this disc until July. All right. Some guys are gonna, might want to do it Hoodie and Jimbo did. Take a season off where you play a couple of games, but really just take a season off to get yourself re-energized and then come back and then, rock out, make it to the playoffs and do what they do, right? And we're going to have some guys that are going to do that. I'm not looking to kick anybody out the league at all, but it's a lot of guys that left the league expecting Real Draft to be starting around the combine time that are asking to get back in the league right now. So if you're a guy that's in the league right now and you don't, you kind of ready to chill out for a little bit, then that's fine. Just let me know and we'll put a replacement in for you. But if you rocking out, it's benefits to rocking all the way out with us, right? And those benefits come down to who I look at first to be picking their teams when we go into new leagues, right? So instead of me starting Real Draft right now, and it sucks because I really would love to be able to play Real Draft right now, but it wouldn't make sense for me to start it right now and then come right back in August and start real draft. Usually real draft is the second half of Madden, right? We open up with Game of Thrones, then we go into real draft when the combine hit. Well, now that the college is coming out, I don't have to make real draft classes. The college is already going to have the players, and we're going to make those players ourselves by developing them and playing with your team, and guys winning awards, and all American teams and things like that. So whatever you develop in whatever college you're playing for is going to be what those guys look like coming out, right? So you're not going to have to look at the combine and figure out who got the fastest 40 and all that. You're going to have to play it in league to understand that, right? Because the college players are going to translate right to the Madden where I don't have to edit anything anymore, right? Not saying I won't go in and tweak some things here and there, depending on, how good they do, how good the EA player people do a good job of meshing the college to the NFL guys, right? So all we have to do, like, if we're in college, when college starts in July, and then Madden come out in August, we're going right into real draft. So real draft will be one season the entire time. We just not going to be playing 24 hours anymore. We're going to go to 48 hours, and you're going to have a game in college and a game in the Madden. Game in the college, game in the Madden. And we're going to run that out to the end of it until Madden 26 drop. And that's how we're moving from here on out. So the fact that real draft will be starting in the beginning of Madden, in the beginning of when Madden drop, it will be pointless for me to start a real draft right now and then go right into starting another real draft again as soon as the new Madden disc come out. All right. Now, if the 24, if now I would have did it if it was compatible with the 25, but because college is coming out labeled 25, that you're not going to better transfer draft classes over from 24 to 25. They're going to be 25, 25. So I'm going to have to do real draft in the beginning of the disc when it comes out. So we're going to be locked in the real draft and college football. All right. Now, as far as everybody that paid for real draft are already locked in. It doesn't matter if you're in the league right now or not. If you're paid, the 32 that paid, they will be playing a real draft. The next thing you guys need to be worrying about is college. Now, I'm not asking for a fee right now or nothing like that because I'm setting up a website right now. And that's how you're gonna better get into the college and my leagues going forward. You're gonna have to join my websites going forward. And on those websites, we're gonna have a lot of different things that's gonna be offered, right? College games of the week, NFL games of the week. I'm going to make highlight tapes for guys. It's going to be so much stuff that we're going to do on that site that it'll be well worth the cost of the fee to join the website. I'm working my way into that right now. I'll give you more information as we get closer to college 25. Now, obviously, college 25. We're looking for 32, and we want the 32 that are in Madden to be playing in college. But because college is a bigger platform and you can add more people to it, we're definitely going to be looking to add more than 32. I don't think I'm going to go past 64. So that's two 32s. And what's going to happen is that's how I'll pluck my users from uh, the college to the NFL, right? So the first 32 that made it to real draft, they're gonna have to be in college. Like you're not gonna better play in our college league without, not gonna better play in real draft without being in a college league. But we get another 32 in college. Those guys will be the replacements for those guys that end up leaving real draft, if you get it. So real draft is gonna run concurrent with college. So I didn't say Game of Thrones is gonna last until the end of the disc, right? Where the new disc come out. It's going to stop when college starts. And then we're going to give ourselves from the month of July to August to only play college until Madden come out, right? To get us all caught up to speed with all the new things that college is offering and things like that. And then we'll go into both. All right. So that's how that's going to go going forward. All right, so we got, again, there's a lot of guys that aren't in the chat right now. Now I have a new chat for real draft. I have a new chat for college, and I will be adding the guys to the chat that are getting in real draft. I'm not adding anybody to the college chat as of yet, until we, get a little bit further on information. All right, so I'm looking at the Pro Bowl list right now, and I want to do some things here. And what I want to do for the Pro Bowl right now is uh, the top three quarterbacks on the Pro Bowl list. I will give you guys a contract reset. All right. I'll start whatever your contract is now. We're gonna reset it to 4 years and year one for you. That's only the quarterbacks. All right. So the quarterbacks on this list, the top six quarterbacks on this list, you got Archer, Williams, Kaepernick, Robinson, and Marino and Fields. Now, I also want to take a look at how many diaper dandies on there. So if you're watching right now and your player is a rookie, I need to know that. All right.
I
Is
already took
is
screenshots of the whole Pro Bowl.
all right. So I don't know if Boykins is a rookie or not. I know he's on the Pro Bowl list for the first time. His name could have been changed, but if he's a rookie, I need to know that. I do know Sean Teller made it. I do know uh, the wide receiver Walton made it as rookies. All right, and Boykin is a rookie as well. All right. You three guys will get a +3 speed, +3 excel on those players that made it, rookies that made the Pro Bowl. All right, so just make sure you DM me and remind me of that, Max. Please keep note of that so I know I'm not looking at them. The next thing I want to do, packages, gifts. Anytime I offer a gift, for now on, if I give out a gift, fellas, y'all have until the next events to get that gift put in. Right now, if it's on me and I get to you late, that's on me. But if you like, I had guys that did the reset package to start to fix their caps, and I gave them all types of shit very cheap, and gave them some breathing room to go further in Game of Thrones, right? Everybody remember that package that got it. And I have guys still right now asking me to do their package that should have been done in the beginning of the year. Now I'm going to honor the one, especially if you pay. I'm going to honor it, but going forward, that's not happening anymore. If you guys don't get it done when it's supposed to get done, fellas, I'm not. We can't do that. Like I can't be giving gifts out that should have been given out. Like I'm giving out gifts from the commissioner gift. Guys hitting me 7 advances later for it. Like y'all got to be on tune with that shit. Y'all got to get it done right then and there, because then I'm gonna look at you like I don't know what you're talking about, and then you mad at me, especially if you pay for something. I would advise everybody to take a look at their cat.
Too late.
I would like everybody to take a look at their cat. Um, I'm not out loud with my packages as of right now. Like I'm not telling you what I will offer, but I do have super deals when it comes down to packages, as far as getting cap space and some extra things I would do along with that. So if y'all interested in being able to tear free agency up this year or sign your players back and you don't have the money to do so, holler at me in the DM and we can make something happen, because I'm gonna give you way more, not just cap space. You're gonna get the cap space you asked for, but I'm gonna give you other incentives for a very reasonable price if you're interested in it. Now, with that being said, as we talked about the Pro Bowlers, congratulations to everybody that made the Pro Bowl. Now let's get into the what the playoffs was like. We already went through the wild card round. I think this season was a really good playoff run. Like it was really good games the entire time.
Them Jets 15 Pro Bowlers.
And that's official. That's crazy. But this playoff run, like I mean, when you talk about Pro Bowls, first of all, let's give a congratulations to Lava. I don't care what that wild card score looked like. What I care about is somebody that took one of the worst teams in the league. Um, I mean, from the start of the disc, we had a user that had the team that tried, did some things over there, but never really can get it fully together over there. And the Giants has been a bottom feeder of the league, a bottom feeder in the NFC East, and the fact that in two full seasons he goes and makes the playoffs with his Giants team, and I
East.
like the fact that he's taking his time with it. He understands what he want to do on the build, not complaining about shit, just getting shit done and putting his team together. Got some Pro Bowlers out there right now and made it to the playoffs this year, winning the NFC East. So shout out to Lava, man, and keep rocking, bro. Because I'm glad you back. You heard? But as you can see, the Bears took on the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC divisional rounds. And I had called this the pick'em game on my late night show, although I never really did anything about picking the game and nothing like that. It was just my game. And I thought this was going to be an exciting game. Now, we watched the chat. I seen the chat. I seen the videos posted in the chat. It was some crazy shit that happened in that game. Let's not act like connection don't be a problem, fellas. Like, let's not do that, right? But what I'm learning to do is stop being out loud with it for the most part, right? Connection is connection because it could be servers and it could be niggas internets, and we know who the internet guys are in the league. But I did see some fuck shit that happened in this game, but I only got to see the pictures and the videos of the fuck shit that happened. But what I did see was a great fucking football game, and I called this being a great football game because it was a great game in the regular season when they played. Um, and I think Corey with the reset of his roster, man. I think the difference with the Bears this year that I thought would carry him a long way is when he can line up and look at his roster versus your roster and see that his roster looks like everybody else's that's up there, right? Like Corey wasn't a team that had a 99 overall roster all the way out in season 7. Now he does. A few things that he did off of drafting and the reset stuff that he did. He had a roster that matches up with the top rosters in the league, and I think that showed all year long. I also think that it's a statement to make it to the NFC Championship game last year and then get right back again this year, and it gives him confidence, right? Because what he's screaming is he's getting back there for the third time. Now, Max, that was on your watch. So what do you say to a guy that's saying I'm getting back there a third time? I don't care who I play to get there, but I'm getting back there.
Uh, what do I say to it? I mean,
49ers
the
eyes.
cards can always draw differently. He fuck around and get in the final. I mean, in the final 8 to the divisional and particulars. I want to see if
It's
the
two
same
spots
energy
high
is
49ers.
reciprocated versus the other teams because statements was made, and I feel like in general a lot of backtracking was happening, like in a lot of those
He
statements.
can
Like
be there, but what that
we
mean
could
to
laugh
you?
about the internet shit when
Gotta
it
give him
happens,
HHS props.
and internet doesn't always portray that. When I say it, I could have used connection, but internet being what I use, like I said, a lot of shit that I seen in that game turned into points. Ball game is a whole different way in my eyes, and it won't really change from that. So I feel like this game could have looked no different than the wild card game. It just wild shit when niggas can say things like, "Man, I didn't even press no buttons," and whole plays happened that led to touchdowns. You can't sit there and be like, "Oh, it was a good game," but like niggas wasn't even controlling shit that was happening within the game. That takes it out of the element of playing the game. Like it really is just like the way it goes. But if he sees the other two teams who he says are better than, I wonder if that same energy will apply when I'm getting to the NFC Championship. I think the cards just fall in his favor when we play, whether that be connection or just Madden or whatever the case. But
Well, I will say this. I do want to give him his props though, because I think it's not that it's not that easy to get to a championship game, period, right? Like, not let alone trying to get to a bowl, especially over there with you got to put him amongst the top 4 over there right now. Like, 2 years in a row, you got to put him over there,
last time
top
we did
4.
that though, he was ghostly, and that was my point after that. Last time we said top 4 because we tried to give it to him like season 3.
That's fine and all and dandy, right? But he in chat screaming, he ain't going nowhere. He ready, he locked in, and that's what we want to see. We want to see a locked in Corey because Corey is
It's
one of the better players in
11:14
our
on
league.
Mars.
And so, all right, so you guys come out of this game 45 to 42. This is a hell of a football game. Again, I predicted this was going to be a really good game. I don't know why I thought that. I just thought this would be the game to watch. I didn't know what the score would be, who would win. If I would have picked, I would have picked you to win the ball game. But as things happen. Shit happens all the time.
NFC East and Southwest,
45
two
42
divisions
was the
in the
ball
league.
game. That moved the Bears back into the NFC Championship. And then a really big time battle, 16-13. This was a defensive game in Seattle where the Rams travel and play a team that they're very familiar with, and 3-point ball game, 16-13 over there in the NFC, moving the Seahawks back toward another chance at a Super Bowl, playing the Bears in the NFC Championship. And the divisional rounds over here in the AFC, you had the Jets. They did a really good job handling the Dolphins 41-12. Again, when you got 15 guys in the Pro Bowl, your team playing at a high
Yes.
level, they were the number one seed for a reason this year. 41-12 ball game, and then a really, really big time
I
ball
was on
game,
vacation though.
21-16 over there in Baltimore, where the Texans and the Baltimore's match up and go at it again, and 16-21 moving the Ravens to the AFC Championship with the Jets. And I think we've played in a championship game in the last 3 seasons, 4 seasons. I know the championship game has
It's
been
cheer season for me.
us in the championship over the last course of the league. And the Bears and the Seahawks in a rematch last year, it got ugly early, and that it really was no chance of the Bears even having a chance to win that ball game. And they get into a ball game this time with the Seahawks. They lose it 42-28, moving the Seahawks into a Super Bowl again. I think this gives them their fourth time in the Super Bowl. I think they 3-1 right now. This would be Super Bowl 5 for them. I know they didn't make it year one. They lost it year two. I think they didn't been in all every time since then because you made it to a bowl, right?
Yeah, I made it versus Falk after the season he
All
beat
right, so
Falk.
Rams were the Super Bowl champs year one. Dolphins was year two. Seahawks was year three.
I
Year
think
f-
Falk.
year four was Falk. Year five was Seahawks. Year six was Seahawks, and now we in year seven right now. All right, so in the NFC, the Bears lose on the road to the Seahawks
I don't lose in
42-28.
playoffs till I face the eventual champions Seahawks.
Yeah, that's definitely the truth. And then the Jets and the Ravens go at it again, and the Ravens pull out the dub. I think the Jets are the Jets, right? But they can get in their own way. If I broke this game down, it was the difference of me not turning the ball over and putting drives together versus the Jets being the Jets, right? He take chances whenever he fucking feel like it. I think he just get bored sometimes, to be honest with you, where he'll get bored and he trying shit he shouldn't be trying at the time he trying them and things happen. But this was a good ass game. The score doesn't really indicate too much of nothing. This game was a 10-point game, third quarter, I think, and I think, but a couple of drives happened in the fourth quarter where a couple of turnovers happened, and for like 5 minutes of that game, it was a lab session. I was just talking about shit and running through some stuff, but it pushes us into a Super Bowl. And right now, the Ravens have been to 2 out of the 7 years so far, and they're 0-2 in the Super Bowls right now. So we have a up but down year this right now with us, right? Like we've had 2 opportunities at Super Bowls, lost both of those opportunities. Will be the third. Um, and this would be this is tough, right? We don't want to be a team that loses 3 Super Bowls, right? But we're coming out to make sure that don't happen. Because we have opportunity to, right? You get to the dance, you got to win the dance. That's the key to it. And then you also have the opportunity for the Seahawks to win their fourth Super Bowl this and putting them in the aspect of, well, we already made him a legend as of now anyway. All he doing is just continue to increase his status, big time game right now. It's 1 seed versus the 2 seed. I don't know exactly when the game was going to play. It should have been played earlier. He was ready early. We were supposed to play super early to get this stuff out the way. But what I want to do is when we play this game, once I get the schedule, when he gets back in the house and we play, we're gonna start right after that. I'm gonna give guys time to. I'll talk in the chat as
Your
well to find
battery
out
is
where
on 5.
everybody at with it. But we would like to get the off season done tonight and get right back to it. Get it done tonight. Take some time off and then get back to work on Sunday. At some point Sunday. To really get to the shit going right now. So I do think this year's playoffs was pretty interesting, right? Like if you look at every game, wild card, all the way to the AFC and NFC championships. They were really good football games, and a lot of the games were had guys to watch. Now I know we get to the playoffs, things slow down some, but sometimes you do need that, right? As much as you got the gamers, right? You got guys that don't give a fuck if they in the playoffs or not. Let's go get these games. They like watching the games. Like a guy like Los, like you gotta love a guy like Los. He make me want to get up and do this shit every day. Like he don't care. He want to watch the games. Where these games at? He's predicting things in it. Like then, when the playoffs come, he's probably one of the biggest pushers of the playoffs. Right? He want to see good games. He challenges the guys that usually make it to the Final Four, and things like that. Not only that, worrying about getting to it. Right? So all the guys that weren't in the playoffs, you get a little break of the game. Now it's time to refresh yourself and let's get the fuck at it right now because we're coming right back to it. Last year's draft was fucking retarded, right? How are you going to do this year draft, right? Last year draft wasn't just retarded. I also gave out certain shit that made you have a
People's
great,
coming in.
great off season right now. So I would like to be able to talk about a lot of the off season stuff today. Let's get to it, knock it out. Again, remember, check out your cap space and things like that because we want everybody to be comfortable coming into season 8 and going forward, right? Like look at it, we're in 2030 after this Super Bowl week advance. I think it's 2030, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so man, we take a look at it, man. Think about your teams and think about where you are right now and where you at. Now, I just want to just recap a couple of things. I did say those top three quarterbacks, NFC top three that made the Pro Bowl, top three in the AFC will get reset contracts, not restructured, reset. All right, just for making the playoffs, you guys will all get reset contracts. I don't care. I don't care if your quarterback made the Pro Bowl. If he wasn't on that list, he ain't. I don't want to hear it. Simple as that. If I don't see your name on that Pro Bowl list, I don't care what you are or what you did. Don't matter. And then the rookies that made it to the Pro Bowl, make sure y'all DM me on that. I'm gonna give y'all +3 speed, +3 excel on that. And if your guys are already fucking super flying and you don't need the speed or excel, we'll give you 3 somewhere else. So make sure you DM me. It's your responsibility to DM me. I'm not chasing you down. That simple. All right, get to it right now. We will put out at the
Nice.
moment. The moment I know what time the Super Bowl will start, I will also. Now, if the Super Bowl is later than expected time, then we might have to push the draft off season till tomorrow. I don't want to, but if it end up happening, then that's what it is. As of right now, though, after the bowl played, we going right into the off season. Simple as that, right? Like especially if it's played within what time is it now?
SMH.
It's 4:28, so we can get this game played before
Talk to me.
7. If we get it played before 7, then it'll be
Follow
easy
every
to go right
schedule works
into
for
it.
me, bro. You here.
5:30. Let me see. Yeah, that's straight, bro. We can get up
About
there. I
to
go.
accept the
All right, so
trade.
off season will definitely be tonight, man. Yeah, especially if we gonna play about 5:30. That's fine. That's perfect. All right. Let's talk about some. Let's talk about the draft a little bit, right? Let's talk about just a little bit of the draft. Let's take a look at some things right now. All right, just the prospects alone right now, right? When you take a look at the top 10, you see majority of offensive linemen in the top 10 right now. And that might be a good thing for guys. You're looking at number 2, 3, 4, 8, all offensive linemen. 2 receivers in the draft, top 10. You got a corner, a safety, and then 2 outside in the middle linebacker in the draft. If I'm looking at your team right now, like I know the Eagles are pick number 1, they have one thing in my opinion they need to go get, and they will. But after that, I think the sky's the limit. I think it's dogs in the
Select
draft.
draft board.
I think it's dogs in the draft, but I would say this: if you're a person that's not gonna better make the draft, make a trade. Or let the computer draft for you. If the computer draft for you and you didn't like anybody yourself, and the computer draft for you, they're usually going to draft the right players. It might not be a position you might not need, but they're going to draft the best player on the board. So if you are going to miss the draft, definitely let the computer draft for you, or make some trades and move yourself into the next year draft, right? Like you might want to trade your first and second to somebody and swap for their first and second next year. Make sure they give you something else with it, but you can do that. That's what I would do. But as you're looking at the top 10 players on this board, they're top 10 for a reason. And that's your uh, draft hint for today. Those top 10 are top 10s for shout. For shout, for shout. For shout, for shout. All right, fellas. Super Bowl. Do y'all go with the guy that's been winning them, or do you go with the guy that's been losing them? Ha ha! Pitching, pitching. Get them in. Who y'all got? Let's get to it right now. Who y'all got winning the bowl? You got a team that's been not only winning bowls together, but they've been playing together for a very long time. And you got a young Baltimore Ravens team who can actually turn that team over. The team you saw us start the disc with is not the team you're seeing on the field right now at all. So you got a new young guy. Like we tried it with the first roster, we lost 2 with that roster, and going into the next few years, we've turned that roster over from quarterback to backfield to receivers to DBs, linemen, offensive linemen, D linemen, everything. A new roster, a very young football team, right? I think the oldest person on the team that's a on-field player, not a special player, not a special teams player, kicker, punter, and things like that. I think the oldest player on the field is about 26 years old. So we got a very young nucleus, but a core that's been together for about 2 to 3 years. Um, so the gel process is there. And they should be ready to go and play. And then you're playing the Seahawks, whose team been together since season 1. And those guys, are they've been
Super
great
Bowl
since season 1.
Video.
These guys are absolutely veterans. Like when you think of a veteran football team, you look at the Brady Patriots teams where they brought in new pieces, but their core pretty much stayed together. Those guys are the guys that win multiple bowls, right? Those core pieces, especially once they get to it, it's hard to not get back, right? Like when you have the Jets when they won, you see how hard it is to stop them from getting to a Super Bowl because of that nucleus, right? That nucleus together, and they're a very young football team as well. But when you have a core that do it together for a long time, when they play together for a long time, I don't care if it's a video game or not. You see that take its course on the field. You can trust those players to be where they need to be at and do the things that they need to do. When they're on the field, like that, when they've been doing it together like that, especially winning as many ball games as some guys have won with their teams. Man, when you win in ball games with your team gets better. They gel together. They play better together, right? And you take that into everything you do, right? You got to take that into everything you do. So when you guys are building your team,
99.7.
make sure you notice that, right? Who are your guys? Who are your core guys? The guys you can't get rid of, right? You don't want to be a guy that get rid of guys that you absolutely need, and then you're pitting good teams together, but you don't have no gel process together, and then you're not making the playoffs or you're losing in the playoffs because your team is put together and not the way it should be put together, right? You want to be a guy that keep a core together. You want to be consistent in how you put your team together, right? We all got different ways of doing things, of putting those teams together, right? But how do you keep yourself relevant when you're putting your team together? It's one thing to bust moves and move around and do certain things, but when you losing top talent year after year after year after year, are you really putting your team together? Are you really putting them in a good situation to be able to be successful? Just some food for thought while y'all taking a look at the top 10 prospects of the draft. Put your picks in the chat, right? I don't need y'all to put them in here. I need y'all to put y'all picks in the chat, man. Who y'all got winning the ball game? Super Bowl 5:30, Seahawks Ravens. With that being said, Anthits highlight. We're gonna advance right now to Super Bowl week. I think this the week that show you if your players went up and traits or things like that. So pay attention to that, fellas. I will also pay attention to if you got anybody that's turning 30 or 30 years old. Make sure they top five. And if they are, you're not gonna lose. You're not going to lose anything. But if they aren't. Those old heads are going to get dropped. So with that being said, we'll holler at y'all after the Super Bowl.